Ladies and gentlemen, I am Staff Sergeant Hardin, and I will be the narrator for today's ceremony. On behalf of the Commander, 821st Contingency Response Group, Colonel Jeffrey Krulik, and the men and women of the 921st Contingency Response Squadron, welcome to today's Change of Command ceremony, in which the reins of responsibility and leadership will pass to Lieutenant Colonel Ryan String. During the course of today's events, there will be several times at which you will be asked to stand. During the national anthem, military members will stand at attention. It is appropriate for civilian guests to place their right hand over their heart. The change of command ceremony is deeply rooted in military history dating back to the 18th century. At that time, organizational flags were developed with color arrangements and symbols unique to each particular unit. The flag served as a rallying point and a reminder of the allegiance to their commander during battle. To this flag and to the commander, military members dedicated their loyalty and trust. When a change of command took place, the flag was passed to the individual assuming command in the presence of the entire unit. All unit members could witness their new leader assume the responsibility and trust associated with the position of commander. He who possessed the flag also held the unit members' allegiance. This symbolic tradition has survived throughout military history. Please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and invocation.
Good and gracious God, we come before you in this time, in this place, to mark the change of command. A momentous event that signifies the 921st Contingency Response Squadron is writing a new chapter in history. We inscribe the last words of that chapter today as we bid farewell to Lieutenant Colonel Kniefel as he embarks on a new assignment, and we write a new chapter as we welcome Lieutenant Colonel String. God, we thank you for Lieutenant Colonel Kniefel's leadership and dedication, guiding us with Gandalf's wisdom and Aragon's steadfastness. His time with us has been like the journey through Rivendell, a place of learning, growth, and strategic counsel. God, as he moves on to his next assignment, we ask that you bless him with safe travels and continued success. May his path be clear and his challenges be met with the same resolve that he has shown him. And God, we now turn the page and we turn our eyes to the future with Lieutenant Colonel Strength. As he assumes his command, we ask that you grant him the courage of Frodo, and the determination of Samwise, and the ingenuity of Legolas. May his leader inspire us to strive for excellence, fostering a sense of unity and purpose within the dragons, just like the fellowship of the ring. God, we know that like the journey to Mordor, our path may not always be easy. But we trust that Lieutenant Colonel Strength's guidance, we will face these trials with the resilience of a hobbit and the strength of a dwarf. God, let our connections with each other be as enduring as the bonds of the fellowship. And may we always find a reason to smile even in the face of challenges. God, help us to remember that we are a part of a larger story, calling for bravery, loyalty, and unwavering service. And God, may this new chapter of our journey be blessed, and may we face all of the challenges ahead with hopeful hearts and cheerful spirits. We ask all of this in your good and gracious name. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Kniefel, for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem, and to Chaplain Simavasi for those inspiring words. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce the official party, the presiding officer, Commander, 821st Contingency Response Group, Colonel Jeffrey Krulik, accompanied by his wife, Liz. The outgoing commander, 921st Contingency Response Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Kniefel, accompanied by his wife, Carolyn, and daughters, Elise and Rhea. He is also accompanied by his parents, Dan and Nancy Kniefel, brother and his wife, Nick and Jen Kniefel, and sister, Danny Mimmet. The incoming commander, Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Strink, accompanied by his wife, Melissa, and daughters, Zoe, Eva, and Stella. He is also accompanied by his parents, Chris and Henry Strink, his in-laws, Tina and Jesse Gonzalez, as well as sister Stacy, brother-in-law Denton, and accompanied by nephew Evan and niece Skylar. We are also privileged to have with us today several distinguished guests. The senior enlisted leader, 821st Contingency Response Group, Chief Master Sergeant Mark Gonsalves. The honorary commander for the 921st Contingency Response Squadron, Mrs. Christine Matulich, accompanied by her spouse, Russ. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to all commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, members of the 621st Contingency Response Wing, and members of Team Travis for taking the time to be here today. Ladies and gentlemen, the presiding officer, Colonel Jeffrey Krulik.
Good morning, everyone. I'm incredibly excited to be with you today as we recognize Lieutenant Colonel Tim Kniefel his service as the Dragon Squadron Commander, and welcome Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Strength as he begins an incredible adventure leading the airmen to the 921 Sierras. It's really awesome to see all the family out here today, so I just want to extend a big welcome to you all, but I want to highlight a few. First, Carolyn, the challenges and sacrifices of family life in the Air Force are significant, and even more so during Squadron Command. Long hours, unpredictable schedules, last-minute deployments, and a needy boss. That would be me. All I can say is thank you. Your love, support, and from what I hear pretty much every day, some pretty good advice allowed Tim to be at his best for the Dragons. Thank you. Elise, Rhea, someday your dad will regale you with stories from his time as Dragon 1. Don't let him off the hook. Mr. and Mrs. Kniefel, thank you for your love and support for Tim and Carolyn. And if you hadn't heard it before, you should be pretty proud of your son. In the Air Force world, he's kind of a big. Melissa, Zoe, Eva, Stella, Eva. I know the 921 Sierras are super excited to officially welcome you to the Dragons. Mr. and Mrs. Strength, thank you for being here today to support Ryan and Melissa. Assuming the role of Squadron Commander is an incredible responsibility, and you should be incredibly proud of Ryan for stepping up and serve to lead the airmen. Let's give a round of applause for all of the family members here today. So a word that comes to mind when describing the change of command ceremony is bittersweet. It's a bit bitter for us to bid farewell to Lieutenant Colonel Kniefel and his family as they make their way to Colorado as EVO prepares to jump into a joint assignment with Northern Command. Yet at the same time, it is sweet to recognize the legacy and culture Lieutenant Colonel Kniefel has built alongside Dragon Airmen, and to also be excited for Lieutenant Colonel Strength as he accepts the mantle of Squadron Commander. Evil, over the past 2 years as Commander, and the year previous to that as Operations Officer, you have given your best to support, challenge, and motivate the airmen of the 921 to live out what it means to be a CR. A team of airmen with an unquestionable warrior mindset who are prepared to respond on a moment's notice to defend our nation during crisis and conflict, anywhere, anytime, any place. From the Afghanistan retrograde, transporting refugees to safety, shipping weapons in the dark of night, leading a CR task force to deter Middle East aggression, and every training exercise at a dusty landing zone in between. You were there leading Dragon's next mission. The Dragon list of mission successes is long and extensive, yet I'd submit the greatest legacy you leave behind is the leadership example that built a culture of grit, professionalism, and excellence. Evil, you have brought the heat for the airmen of the 921 each and every day of command. I don't think it's possible for you to turn off the heat, but you have absolutely earned for at least a little while to turn it down. Thank you, Godspeed, and send it. Colonel Strength, I think it's about time. Ryan is no stranger to the CR as he comes off a successful tour leading operations for the 821 CRSS. Former Contingency Responsible Chief of Safety and Air Mobility Liaison Officer. Ryan, you will have large boots to fill and a rucksack full of the warrior ethos Evil leaves behind. But I have no doubt you are up to the challenge to command this incredible squadron of CR Airmen. Let's go.
Thank you, Colonel Krulik. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medals. Sir, may I publish the order?
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, is awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, 3rd Oak Leaf Cluster, to Lieutenant Colonel Timothy R. Kniefel for meritorious service 14 September 2020 to 13 June 2024. Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Kniefel distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 921st Contingency Response Squadron, 821st Contingency Response Group, 621st Contingency Response Wing, Travis Air Force Base, California. During this period, he led 164 airmen across 39 distinct career fields through the Wing's largest organizational change in 20 years. His efforts forged new contingency response concepts of operations to prepare 1,200 Wing airmen for a peer conflict, shaping the strategic alignment of exercise and training activities to posture forces for the successful transition to the Air Force Force Generation deployment model. Additionally, he led the first 2 deployments of modernized contingency response element, commanding a 108-member team delivering 1.2 million pounds of lethal aid to Ukraine and providing deterrence against Russian and Iranian aggression. Finally, he fueled his unit's shift from pandemic operations to a warrior culture focused on readiness and mission execution, preparing his team to crush 16 command-level exercises and 158 operational missions in support of 11 combatant commands and 97,000 joint warfighters. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Lieutenant Colonel Kniefel reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the outgoing commander, Lieutenant Colonel Timothy Kniefel.
All right. Hello, everyone. Before I get started, can we get a round of applause for Chaplain Simowski? Thank you for that. You know, a couple of weeks ago, he told me he was going to do it. He was thinking about doing a Lord of the Rings theme. And I thought that was funny because we had never talked about Lord of the Rings before. At least I didn't think we were talking about Lord of the Rings. But I am a huge nerd. I try not to wear that portion of my nerddom on my sleeve, but he drew it out of me, you know. Of course, every Friday we have a mental health session where I get to unload a little bit of my worries on him. And I think it speaks to his character and his skill as a counselor to be able to draw out those themes for me. So thank you, Chaplain. You helped me through the burden of command when I needed it the most, even when I didn't know I needed it. So one more round of applause for Chaplain. So speaking of thank yous, I'm going to do all of this first because that's actually the really hard part, believe it or not. And in classic fashion, I'm going to choose the frontal assault. Colonel Krulik, Chief G, thank you for your leadership, your mentorship. And sir, thanks for not firing. I know I have a tendency to make things a little difficult on people, and you certainly were not able to stay out of the path of this tornado. But thank you for weathering the storm. Thank you for going through that with me, and I really appreciate it. To my fellow commanders, Gif, Kenya, Rob, Adam, even past ones, Dan and Scott, and Booty, of course. This thing that we have is really special. And we, as commanders in the CRW, share, specifically this CRG, share a connection that is not common in other organizations. So thanks for listening to my rants. Thank you for giving me alternate viewpoints and challenging my thinking when I needed it. And just thanks for being my friends. Sometimes it's lonely in this gig. Really, commanders know. If you don't know before, you figure it out in the middle. But you guys remind me constantly of the true value of friendship. So thank you. To my triad, Senior Cope, Master Sergeant Johnson. Gentlemen, it's been real. I was looking back at all the things we've done, all the decisions we made, all the changes that we put in place. If anybody thinks command can be difficult sometimes, or a thankless job, you should try being the senior enlisted leader or the first sergeant. My guy. I want you all to know that the work that they put in day in, day out, these two professionals, is absolutely awe-inspiring. If you could see how hard they were working for all of you, every single airman, every single day, you'd be in awe. Senior Cope actually couldn't be here today. He's off getting his butt kicked at SEER training, but he sent his regards over there, and I just want to make sure that I thank these two very, very much from the bottom of my heart. So, round of applause for their trial. To the folks that couldn't be here today, out in VTC land, as they say, on the YouTube channel, thanks for being part of this journey. Special thanks to Colonel Cassius Bentley for taking a chance on me when other people wouldn't. Thanks to Colonel Ed Zapanik for his example and his guidance over the years. And to all the friends we made along the way, thank you very much. To my family, thank you, each and every one of you, for being the amazing people that you are. When I left my hometown of Napa in the summer of 2001, I never thought it would take 20 years to get back here. And believe me, 4 out of 5 previous commanders would agree that young Evil was a little too vocal about his preferences. That's a shock. But over the last 4 years, I found that you can't put a price tag on being close to family. Watching our girls interact with their cousins, being close enough for Grandma and Grandpa to come down and help out. I can't tell you how much that means to me and Carolyn, and how much we value the fleeting time that we've had together on this assignment. So thank you, I love you. To Carolyn, my wife. Where'd she go? Classic! You hear leaders across the Air Force thank our families and the families of our airmen constantly for their sacrifice and support. But without specifics, those words border on cliche. And you all know how much I hate cliche and misused colloquialisms. We are not going to level the bubbles on this one. But every time we went out the door, nobody asked Carolyn for permission. Nobody asked Carolyn what career ramifications would be when I'm not there. Man, I practiced this. Hold on. This always happens, by the way. Nobody considers how much PTO Carolyn has to take every time the kids get sick, or how little sleep she'll get every time there's a middle of the night wake up and it falls to her. We're supposed to take that for granted and lump it into the cost of doing business. Well, Carolyn, I'm here to tell you that I don't take that for granted. You are the one that's made this all possible. And you are the one who has shouldered the real burden. I'm in awe of you. I know that. Told you that's hard. Okay. To the Dragons, the CRS of choice, the best damn squadron you ever had. Thank you. Now we got what? I want to talk about 3 things. You've heard them all before in different ways. I want to talk about the fight, the gift, and the promise. It's no secret that I love a good fight. Again, sorry, boys. Even if you don't win, as long as you learn from the loss, as long as you grow from it, and you preserve the relationships at the back end when the dust settles, you'll see that the value of productive conflict is in the doing itself. And productive conflict is something that should never be shied away from. I have not made things easy on any of you, but I hope you know that's for purpose. We've accomplished so much, people. You already heard Colonel Krulik talk about it a little bit. From Afghanistan retrograde to Operations Allies Welcome, direct support to our partners in Ukraine, our deployment to Germany to deter spreading conflict in the Middle East, every single GAMS tasking, and every training opportunity that we took advantage of in between. We have done hard things. Why do we do hard things? Because we have to test our limits. You know what happens when you do? Every time, as long as you're not dead, you'll find that there's always something left in the tank. There's always a reason to try harder, to be better. So that, God forbid, you find yourself cut off from the rest of the world on some island in the Pacific. It will not be the first time you find out what you're made of. Every day, get in the fight. Train hard. Do it for each other. It's not lost on me the significance of this day, June 6th, the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. It was on this day in 1944 that some of our grandparents and some of our great-grandparents landed on the beaches of Normandy to give us a gift. A gift that none of us should take lightly. When we raise our right hand and swear our oath to the Constitution of the United States of America, we join an exclusive club. We, in the profession of arms, hold the only morally acceptable monopoly on the use of violence. Not for glory, not for riches, or fame or notoriety, but for purpose. And that purpose is each other. The gift of freedom has been given so many times by our brothers and sisters, the ultimate sacrifice, their last full measure, given out of love for one another. From the book of John, greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. This gift has been given to us for our safekeeping. So let me ask you this. Are you doing your part? Are you living up to the gift of sacrifice for one another? Can you do more? We do hard things for purpose. The purpose of love for one another. So now a promise. I promise you that I will never stop fighting for you if you promise never to stop fighting for each other. Take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way. Never fear the specter of failure, because if you're doing it right, you will fail far more than you succeed. God knows I have. But take pride in the fact that the doing is its own reward. Get in the fight. Step into the ring every chance you get. And your place will never be with those cold and timid souls that know neither victory nor defeat. I want to leave you with an old poem that hangs in my office just below the Constitution as a reminder to live every day like it was your last. Once more into the fray. Into the last good fight I'll ever know. Live and die on this day. Live and die on this day. I leave with full heart, thankful for the wild ride, and confident that the dragons are in really good hands. So if you will indulge me, I'd like to do one last dragon call to close it out. Stand if you would, dragon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Kniefel. At this time, in the men and women of the 921st Contingency Response Squadron wish to render a final salute to their outgoing commander.
Second stage, put. Present, huh. Order, huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the change of command.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Special Order G-24-016, dated 5 June 2024. Lieutenant Colonel Ryan M. Strink is appointed Commander, 921st Contingency Response Squadron, Travis Air Force Base, California, effective 6 June 2024, under authority of Air Force Instruction 51-604. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. On behalf of Colonel Krulik, it is my pleasure to introduce the new commander of the 921st Contingency Response Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Strink.
Thank you all for coming. I wrote this speech. I didn't realize I had to factor in following that man. Can I get another round of applause for that? Good morning, Colonel Krulik, Chief G, distinguished guests, fellow squadron commanders, esteemed chiefs, and of course my valued teammates, both past and present. Your presence here today honors not only the Dragons, but also the incredible Tin, Evil, Kniefel, and his family, as well as my own wonderful family. Colonel Krulik, Colonel Herring, Colonel Edwards, thank you for placing your confidence in me and trusting me with the command of a phenomenal squadron, 921. Melissa and I are truly excited to take the ball from Evil and drive it even further forward down the field. Moving on to my personal support system, my family, mom, dad, your unwavering love and support throughout everything has meant life to me. Thank you for being here always. Same goes for Mel's parents, Tina and Jessica Gonzalez, and my sister Stacy, and her husband Benton, and their kiddo Skylar and Evan. Thank you all for taking the time to get here. I know it wasn't easy to take time out of your day. Thank you. And lastly, to my ever reliable anchor family, my wife, Melissa, you're our rock. You are our rock. You have my gratitude forever. Having you at my side along with our amazing daughters, Zoe, Eva, and Stella, I know it can be any challenge that life throws our way. Command is a privilege. I don't take that lightly. It's also an opportunity to lead alongside remarkable airmen that I greatly admire, like Lieutenant Kim Cerna, Jeff Bloom, Adam McDade, Lee, Rob, all the commanders I've talked to about like the little things that all add up. Thank you. Your guidance throughout this transition has been instrumental. Melissa and I wish you and the Kniefel clan the very best in Colorado. We miss it there. We're gonna have a great time. But yeah, rest assured, we'll strive to build upon the legacy you established. While standing here fills me with immense pride, today is not about me. It's about the phenomenal provide you with the necessary tools and resources to excel in your mission, opening airfields and enabling mobility operations. You, the Dragons, have consistently set the bar for professionalism within the contingency response enterprise. And I've been witness to it the entire time. It's been awesome and a privilege to see. I'm excited to begin pushing each other forward towards new goals and achieving them together. And lastly, to everyone involved in planning and execution of this, Captain Buck, probably everybody that was involved here, thank
There he
you
is.
so
Hey.
much. There he is.
Stand up.
We have been involved in setting these things up. Something goes wrong all the time. I acknowledge that. I've been part of it. It's not fun. I appreciate everything you guys put into this. Thank you. Thanks for everybody for being here, and let's make it a great Air Force Day.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Street. We look forward to your leadership and guidance. At this time, the men and women of the 921st Contingency Response Squadron wish to render the first salute.
Squadron, page up. Present. Huh. Order. Huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the Air Force song and the departure of the official party.
Favorite part. Because I did great things.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please join us for a reception in honor of Lieutenant Colonel Street. We thank you for joining us and hope you have a wonderful day.
Dragons!